Hey everyone, welcome to the season two of my voiceover interviews, or should I say voice actor interviews? Anyways, bringing up episode two, we have Nasim Benelkour. Would you like to introduce yourself, my friend?
Yes, hello. My name is Nasim Benelkour. I am an 18-year-old voice actor based out of Florida, currently supposed to be going to Texas in the next week or so, having residence there, thank God. I'm also a casting director, actor, model, and content creator. My most profound stuff that I've been in was probably a lot of official webtoon stuff, as I am a webtoon influencer and work with them closely, and some stuff with Windcraft and some stuff here and there for indie games, indie animation. But yeah, I've been doing voiceover ever since I was 12, and I've been just following it ever since I started looking into it.
Damn, all that and you're 18? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Damn, that's impressive. I will definitely I will definitely ask some more detailed questions later on. Oh my god. So yeah, just to get this question I'm sure you're expecting just out of the way. Um, yeah, what got you into voiceover, voice acting?
Oh man. I would say, man, it was a lot of things, honestly. I mean, voiceover is something that you see all over the place in media, from commercials to animation to really anything, to be honest. So I would feel like the main thing that attracted me to voiceover was probably it was back when I was an animator. When I was 12, I was a stop motion animator and I did like Lego stop motion. And meanwhile, in that whole process, I've kind of lost motivation for that. So then I just started seeing voiceover as more of just like, oh, this is so cool. I had voice actors in my projects, and whenever they were voicing my project, I was always jealous. I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. So I would honestly say my biggest inspiration for going into this career was probably seeing other people doing it and me finding it so cool to do, voicing characters, voicing in this and voicing in that. And I just, decided to go into it after losing motivation for being an animator and just went into a different career.
And you're an animator as well? Jesus, dude.
Jack of all cards, or
Exactly,
jack of all trades.
exactly. So yeah, you mentioned before that you got into voiceover since you were 12. That's
Oh yeah.
really damn early. Like I only got into voiceover when I was 16, but I knew I wanted to do it as a kid, but I didn't want to do it
Mhm.
earlier. But I'm very very impressed that you did it like as early as you did because you seem to know a lot more about it at 18, which I am totally envious envious of, by the way. So yeah, what inspired you to just do it early? Because not a lot of people do it early. They usually do it a lot later. You're actually like one of
Mhm.
the few exceptions that do it earlier instead of later.
Yeah.
So I want to know like what inspired you? Like what was like the one thing that pushed you to do it? Like hell yeah, I'm 12. I'm gonna do it.
Well, when I was very young, I was very self-aware, more self-aware than a lot of kids my age, and I knew that being young was an opportunity in itself. I've always wanted to like take advantage of opportunity and strike first whenever I see it come to me. And seeing something as voiceover being a dream when I was young, I'm like, okay, I want to do this. I want to head forward. I want this to be my career in the future, and I know I didn't have any responsibility. I didn't have any bills to pay. I didn't have any financial responsibility. I was, I had food in my bag or food in my mouth, clothes in my back. I was good. So I really had so much free time. And so when I was young, I just started to take advantage of that. I feel like that it's also mixed in with my hyper obsessive nature over the things that I like. To be honest, I've always been hyper obsessed over things that I love, whether that have been Pokemon or even the animation stuff. It was never just like a simple desire. It was always an obsessive thing. And I'm just like, I gotta do it. I gotta do it now. No procrastinating. Let's do this. That was me.
That's a really good quality to have. Just the I don't know. It's just that sheer ability just to that you know what's ahead, but you're just gonna go do it. Like
100%.
very really good trait to have, and I'm very envious of you for it. If because I guess you could say I'm still youngish. I'm only 20, but I don't know, man. It's crazy, but yeah, I'm very envious of that, and I'm sure I'm sure a lot of people out there would be very like envious and like are inspired to just take up those opportunities as soon as they can, that kind
Hmm.
of sense.
Yeah,
But
100%.
exactly. Um, Yeah, so any what were like some like cartoons or any anime that kind of like got you into voiceover? Or I would extend that question further. Is there any sort of performance from a voice actor in those shows that kind of like inspired you to like, do it?
Hmm. I would definitely say, I was definitely a DC head growing up. I loved DC. I loved the cinematic universe, especially the animated shows. Young Justice was probably one of my favorite shows growing up. And I really got to be able to see this raw acting ability incorporated in such a show like this, even though it was fantasized and fantasy, and seeing that and seeing people having the capability of being able to perform a character outside of who they were as a person in such a crazy show like Young Justice with aliens and this and monsters and all that, like it was so cool to see. And I feel like that the biggest media besides DC that would probably inspire me is the norm anime. Anime was definitely something that did inspire me, seeing voiceover and whatnot. I was always intrigued. I would say my favorite performance in anime that have captured me the most was probably the performances by Bryce Papenbrook. I idolize him a lot, and seeing him kind of having the same vocal register, but still having the acting chops to be able to perform a wide variety of characters was freaking awesome to see. And I feel like that's a constant thing that's overlooked about his ability is not his voice, but his ability to play characters and act as different characters, and nobody really sees that often. But yeah, definitely those things.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Bryce. But Bryce Papenbrook is a great voice actor. It just like he reminds me of just like what this one piece of advice I remember when going into voiceover. So this was back when I didn't have much of a range as I do now, but
Mhm.
it was the thing that you just have your voice and that's all you need. And I think
Yeah,
Bryce is like a perfect example of that because most of his characters, I mean this in the nicest way possible, they don't um differentiate too much from what Bryce normally sounds like. But it's just
exactly.
the sheer acting that just makes him a different character each and every time. So it doesn't seem like
Mhm.
repetitive or anything like that. So yeah, man, I totally get what you're saying. Uh,
100%.
Hell yeah. So yeah, I'm from New Zealand, so we don't have a lot of conventions here. We have like one every like once a year. We have and that
Mhm.
depends like where you live, of course. If you
Yeah.
want to do it there, we drive to another city to do it. But you sound like you've been to a lot of conventions in your life. Which is really cool. So I was gonna say, what's like been some of your favorite conventions to go to, and have you met any voice actors at those conventions?
Oh man, I could talk about conventions forever. My,
Me
my
too.
main, I have like a kind of a rotation every year. I've only started going to conventions pretty recently. I would say about 3 years ago. My first convention was MegaCon, and the first voice actor that I met was actually J. Michael Tatum. And I was so surprised. I didn't know when I first walked into the convention. I thought it was a flea market. Initially, I just thought that was a flea market. So I walk in there, I see all this stuff. I'm like, "Oh my god, it's so cool!" And then I see a guest area. I'm like, "Oh, guest? Who's there?" Walk over there. I see J. Michael Tatum right next to my left. I'm like, "Whoa!" So I meet him. He gives me amazing advice regarding voiceover and whatnot. And my little egotistical 16-year-old ass. Yeah, I don't know if I can curse on here, but
Please do. It's okay. It's fine.
Okay, my little 16-year-old egotistical ass, I was just like, "I wanna be better than you for someday. Like, someday I wanna be better than you." He's like, "You better do it because 'cause I'm, like, 30." So, like, that was amazing. But, to go back to the question, I go to MegaCon, Anime NYC, DreamCon, and now, a convention called WeebCon that is going to be, if I may self-promote a little bit, it's gonna be coming up in around 2 to 3 more days. It's, this week in, Texas. I'll be guesting there, thank God, Brandon and whatnot. But yeah, I met a lot of voice actors at my time during conventions, and every time that I do, it's always an amazing experience to see, getting advice, being able to just shoot the shit and talk about my obsession, talk about this career and, get advice from the pros, the people that I want to be in their position and hire when, I'm in the industry and I'm doing my thing. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. I remember going to one convention back in 2018. I met William Salyers. He's the voice of Rigby from Wriggler Show, but he's
Oh,
also the voice actor of Doctor Octopus in the Spider-Man 2017 game as well. Um,
mhm.
yeah, because I was a big Wriggler Show fan, so meeting him was amazing. He also gave me like some really good advice on voiceover, and I always just try to keep that in my mind. So if I ever meet him again, I'll be like, "Hey, you remember me?" Like that kind of thing. I also met Yuri Lowenthal as well.
Mhm.
He was lovely. So what I did was me and one of my friends, because he was signing and stuff as well. So what we did
Mhm.
was we bought a body pillow of Sasuke and Naruto, pretty much making out, and we got him to sign it. And Yuri was like he was like cracking up, and he signed the pillow. He said like pucker up. So it's beautiful. I love that man so much.
Man.
But yeah, you mentioned before that no, actually, you know what? I'm gonna rework the question a little bit. So
Okay.
recently, you were a guest on a panel at a con, which is
Mhm.
really damn cool. So yeah, what was that like? Like first time experience?
Oh my gosh. So that was my first individual panel, and that was such a thrilling experience. I can refer to all my friends that came with me there. I was really nervous. I didn't think that anybody would show up because you would think that, like, I'm just like, hey, I'm not really anybody like crazy, I just like to I want to talk about voiceover. So, being able to go to this panel, sit at the speaker position where I would see all my favorite voice actors be able to do, but be in their position and actually speaking and seeing like like a lot of people there, people sitting on the floor just to hear me. I was so surprised, man. And doing that panel was an experience and a half. Being able to be, providing advice for people that want to be in this space and field just like I want to, in the future in this industry was such an amazing opportunity. I mean, I do panels often with friends and whatnot, but doing this one individually was just an experience on its own, to be honest. It was awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Hell yeah! I remember you were showing like videos and like pictures of all the people who showed up, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, man. That is so damn cool. If I ever get to be on a panel someday, then that's exactly how I want it to pan out. you know,
Yeah, 100%.
Hell yeah. Yeah, actually speaking of, say, a voice actor books a role and it's their first time going to a panel and they're not like so experienced with like talking to people a lot. Is there any
Mhm,
piece of advice that you would give to people if they're going to like a convention or being a
mhm.
guest at a panel?
Mhm. I would say it's definitely just about having the conversation, like just striking the first word. We always got to remember as just human beings in general that we're human, and any conversation is going to be a human conversation. We're not talking to aliens or people from, from different worlds or whatnot. We're talking to each other. And even though we're in a panel position or really any position when we're speaking, we have to just remember that we are humans and no one's really going to shatter us if we maybe make a mistake or probably not say something right or fumble over a word or two. Like, we're human, and I know I was nervous of that. I was nervous of slipping up or saying the wrong thing or whatever and whatnot. But at conventions, majority if not all the time, everyone's accepted, especially in this anime space where in the past, we were all rejected, but now, it's becoming more of an accepting thing. And, everyone's, super supportive of each other, in panels at, the convention itself, in the halls, like everyone's supportive. So, there's really nothing to be afraid of because no matter what you do, no matter what you say, as long as you're good hearted and, you're showing people what you love, then I feel like that people will respect it.
Damn, very well and eloquently spoken. Thank you. I think that's a really good piece of advice for people out there. Just don't be afraid to like take the first step. Everyone's human, like you said. So don't worry about like making a terrible impression. Um,
Mhm,
because the worst people can say is no or get out of my house, get out of my. No, I'm just kidding. That kind of sense. Um, yeah. So I think you mentioned this before. You currently
mhm.
live in Florida right now, but you're
Yeah,
moving over to Texas, Dallas, Texas, right?
yeah.
So, I hear from the grapevine that Dallas, Texas is like a really, really big hub for anime voiceover work.
Oh,
And
yes.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, with your move to Dallas sometime in the future, is
Mhm,
there any kind of anime that you would, like to work in? Any particular shows or like dream animes that you would love to like, voice in?
mhm. I would definitely say one of my biggest, at least dream anime is Blue Lock. Definitely, man. Bro, when I say that Blue Lock is probably one of my favorite mangas because it's the only mangas that I've read. It's like it's something because I don't usually like read manga like that. I never really find anime that gets me so hyped that I read the manga or anime, especially with this one, anime that I don't even wait until it comes out and I read the manga beforehand and also watch the anime. So that was an experience of its own. And just for a series like that, a series so simplistic as soccer, just being more cool and fun. Oh, it's freaking crazy to even think about, man. So that would definitely be a dream come true would be Blue Lock. Getting into that field and whatnot. Pun intended.
You called it soccer.
Yeah. Football, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. I'm American.
Yeah, so at the start of this interview, you made a pretty bold claim saying that you have the best room in the voiceover
Oh.
community. Would you like to prove that statement?
Oh my gosh. If I can be able to turn my camera around, I can. But my room is super big, so I would be able to just like back up a little bit and like give you like little bit of a tour. So like I have like a little manga wall right here that I set up, Attack on Titan themed. Attack on Titan is amazing. Anyone should please go watch it. Like it's top tier anime. I have basketball paper, wallpaper over here. I do like basketball too. I'm not just anime and whatnot. I have other stuff I'm interested, guys. I'm not only an anime guy. I actually have some of my like old Lego stuff here from when I was used to do stop motion, and I have them like lined up over there and whatnot. Just this kind of memorabilia. I look back whenever I wake up. I'm like, oh yeah, I used to do that. Yeah, so that's cool. And if I take a look over here, I have an entire shelf just full of like anime merchandise and I'm lucky that I filled the entire shelf because now that I go outside anywhere or go to a shop and want to buy more, I can't because the entire thing's full. So I'm like, okay, I can't even buy anymore. But I got like One Piece over here. Actually, if I can show this, this is actually a booth that I'm building currently, and it is almost in the process of being done. But yeah, that's what you guys get to see from now. Hopefully, I'll do entire room tour on my Twitter, so you guys can check that out. Maybe.
Damn, you have a really big room. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't really say for sure because my room right now does not compare to the sheer magnitude of weebiness you have. So fair play. I'm if if I would say right now it's probably the best in the VO community. That's just
Well,
that's for
thanks.
that's just from me, but we'll see what the audience thinks as well.
It's a top.
Um, yeah. So yeah, So good luck with moving all that from there to Dallas, every single one, because I imagine all of that's gonna go over to Texas or some of it.
Oh no, probably not. I really don't want to move any of this stuff. Probably just the
Yeah.
important stuff. But probably leave a good amount of it behind. What I mean, just in case if I come back or whatever it is or whatnot.
Hell yeah. So yeah, you in your room just behind you over there, you have your Legos from your stop motion days. So that's really cool.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So just with that in mind, I know you don't really do it anymore, but with stop motion with Lego or with anything or animation in general, would you end up, kind of coming back to that at some point in the future?
Hell no. Stop motion. Oh man, if anyone watching this has done stop motion animation before or has dabbled in it or I've seen it or I've seen the process of it, you know how tiring it is, man.
For
Like it
sure.
is. Oh my gosh, frame by frame, picture by picture, literally sitting at a 90-degree angle with your phone or camera trying to take a picture of something. It is wild. No, I wouldn't, but it was definitely really fun when I did go into it. I always was in love with telling a story. And that was the main thing that drew me to stop motion animation, was telling a story. And through whether that been Lego minifigures or even my old WWE figures, like, that, and really anything that I can be able to incorporate to be able to tell a story that goes on in my head, um, was what I did, and that was, what drew me to animation, and it's also an aspect that drew me to voiceover, which was, storytelling, and instead of telling the story, being the person that tells the story, if you know what I mean, you
Oh
know?
yeah, yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, animation. Oh Jesus, that is a whole another
Yeah,
hard
whole
work.
I respect everyone who does
And
it.
I respect it so much because just like voiceover, and voice actors in general, we can be severely undervalued or underappreciated for our work.
Yeah,
And but animation takes like so much time, so much effort. So and I have nothing but like this utmost respect for people who spend time doing this in that kind of sense. Um,
100%.
but yeah, also you mentioned before that you my friend are a casting director. So
Yes.
if say for example, someone watching this decides to take the plunge into professional voiceover and
Mhm,
you submit a project and you're directing for it,
mhm.
what kind of things would you be looking for in that person's audition?
Ooh, I like talking about this a lot. It's a topic that I talk about with my friends on Discord a lot. So I would feel like that there are some basic rules of, going about auditions and whatnot. Definitely reading over everything. No matter how much information I put on these Google documents, there's always one person that doesn't read something and they end up sending me the wrong subject line, audio, whatever it may be. Please read everything because everything matters. We put that there for a reason. Like everything that you see on a document that is an audition document, all that there is put there for a reason. So you should read it and all the way through, please. But the biggest thing that I would say, that definitely, is a big deciding factor in my, personal casting, stuff is, connection, and I feel like that connection is a very overlooked or not overlooked, I would say under talked about thing in, the voiceover world. Um, I see when someone connects to a character more than the next guy. I can tell when someone spends 5 minutes on an audition for this character and someone that spend a little bit more time learning about the character, connecting themselves to the character, knowing their wants, knowing their needs, knowing why they're doing this something in the script, knowing this character as a whole in the short amount of time that they're doing it. I can tell that difference in an audition. If I can tell that difference from a person that really only casts for indie stuff, I promise you people that the industry can tell the difference even better. So it's definitely connection. I feel like that the person that well, obviously, this is not like 100% of the time. Casting decisions are, a variety of different stuff. But I feel like that a main contributing factor to who gets the role or not is definitely who connects themselves to the character the best, who can play this character the best, who sounds like, and not just the voice, but sounds like through your acting and your voice acting in the audition. Like, and that's purely connection for me. So whenever I hear an audition and I feel someone really going for it, like really putting in their all 100% plus ultra, like that gives me happiness. And a small little thing, I love improv. I always I put in the every audition document. This is how you know I'm casting for something. I say that improv is suggested. I love improv because it shows me, or it can show me, that you know more about the character or you're connected to the character more through what you improv about. Like I actually made a decision on casting someone primarily through the fact that they were the only one doing improv for the audition. Now, am I saying do improv for every audition? No. But if they say that improv is suggested, maybe incorporate some little things here and there. Don't improv the whole scene. Maybe throw some bits and pieces over in there because I'm tired of hearing the same line over and over again. And some little spice can definitely, tingle my ear.
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned improv just then because I remember my days on Casting Call Club where, the person making the project wouldn't have any lines. It would always just be say something you'd think fit, and
Oh.
that those dreaded words. But with this it's more like open suggestion because you have like the lines there and you have
Yeah.
like extra space for improv. And I think improv
Mhm.
is like really important because
Yeah.
in a sense when you're auditioning for a character or you book the role of a character, that character is yours to voice.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of you that
Mhm.
that can go like the distance. And with improv, I would say that it's like a really good chance to show that like originality of like what that the person brings like specifically to the role and how how that can be worked in and how that can change over time reacting to different things or how they feel about certain things. So
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely agree with improv, and yeah, I feel like directors should have that space in there more often because it's a really good chance to see the voice actor like in their purest state when auditioning.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Hell yeah. And man, you've been such a great guest. And I have only one last question for you. You've been answering really well, and I appreciate it so much. So, my last question, we're going to end it on a really, really solid or wholesome note, depending what your answer is.
Mhm.
Yeah, so to all the voice actors out there or aspiring voice actors that want to really give it a go, you're like a good exception. You started out young,
Mhm.
which is really really impressive. So yeah, age in this sense it doesn't matter where you start. There's no like
Exactly.
perfect age to start. So yeah, if you had any piece of advice to give to voice actors who are like, maybe I shouldn't, to like, what would you say?
I would say 2 things. Firstly, that there is opportunity for everyone. I brought this up in my panel, during MegaCon, and, I'll bring it up here. If you are on a drive, right, on a highway, look at all the different brands you see around you through your window, in your car, even if you're in your room right now, look around your room and notice the different brands that are around you. This laptop is HP, my phone is Apple. I can name thousands of things in my room from different brands. What does that mean? Usually those brands need a voice actor. Who can be a voice actor? You. There are opportunity everywhere. Voice acting is something that is going to be needed for generations and generations. Opportunity will come if you look for it. I promise you. Now, the second thing is the mindset. I bring this up on Twitter a lot, or I've brought this up on Twitter a lot. But mindset is definitely something that is very overlooked. If you want to go in this career, you're going to have to know how to grind. This is a grind. Whether you are starting out, whether that you are intermediate, whether you are professional, whether you're in the industry. The biggest thing that connects us, besides just the process of auditioning, is the fact that we're always, always, always on a continuous grind. And you're gonna have to know how to get accustomed to that. And if you can't get accustomed to that, then someone's going to outbook you. That is the hardest truth that I can preach here now. And I don't want to be the one to do it, but someone has to. But to end this on a good note, you can do it no matter what your voice sounds like, no matter what position you are in your life, no matter how old you are, whether you're as young as me or as old as somebody else, you can do it. No matter what. There's no exceptions, no excuses. You are capable of doing it. You just have to try.
100 fucking percent. Yes. What many people might understand what voiceover is, it's a grind. It's a
Yeah.
long haul. It takes time, it takes effort. The journey of learning new things never really stops, no matter what stage you're at. But as long as you're still able to find enjoyment in doing voiceover and of course in other things in life, if you're able to just have that and just keep going for as long as you can, you'll get to where you want to be. Yeah,
Mhm.
I totally agree with that. And with that, the interview comes to an end. Naseem, thank you so much for being such an amazing guest. I hope the next few cons that's coming up soon goes really well for you. And yeah, are there any? I'm just gonna let you plug any social media or any events that you might have. I'll plug it in the description. And
Mhm.
yeah, go for it, man.
Alrighty. You can find me anywhere at Lux Path or at Nasim Benelkour. It's really anywhere. I don't really use any other social media handle. Thank God that none of them are taken. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, really anywhere that social media exists. I'm probably there, or I probably have a profile that I don't really post on, or I should probably post on. But bringing up WeebCon, if you are going to WeebCon in the next 3 days or so, please come. I am part of a group called Limitless Creation. We're going to have a booth there, and we're going to have 4 panels. And make sure that you be able to attend. I will say hi. I'll greet you. I'll probably give you a high five and a dap up, and we can talk about voiceover anytime you like. But I really appreciate you having me on. This was really cool. I love being able to get interviewed and ask questions about this because I spare about voiceover every single waking moment. So I'd like to talk about it with somebody else that picks up the information. But thank you.
No worries, man. I'm always happy to interview any voice actor around the world anytime. So yeah, that's me. That's me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next interview. Take care.